Here is Brian Kilmeade explaining how horrible it would be for the country if people had any of their college debt forgiven. Here he is.
Issues to be discussed when it comes to student debt. No question if you want to do something across party lines. But what about the 32-year-old that just paid off their debt? Are they suckers? And what about the fact that they have to pass this through legislation, perhaps? Because the president said, as soon as he took office, I'm going to continue that pause so that no one's been paying back their student loans. Trump stopped it, and then Biden continued it. So President Biden says $10,000 off the top. Schumer and Warren says $50,000 off the top. This goes because they federalized the student loan program, so all that debt is wiped out, which means just adds to the nation's debt. But I also think there's a fundamental problem in that when you take out a loan, aren't you responsible to pay back that loan? If you get the right legislator in place, do you take out a loan and say no problem? The 22-year-old, the 18-year-old that takes out one today, well, he's got to pay his or hers back. But the 26-year-old that's in the middle of paying him back, they get it wiped out. And just think about
what... are they going to raise that guy's taxes to pay for this?
Exactly.
The guy who already paid off his student loans.
We've gone through much of this. We know that people get their debt relieved all the time. In fact, the wealthier you are in this country, the better chance that you have of your debt relieved. But also, if we're worried about the federal government and the deficit, when you get the same services that you got yesterday, but today it costs you significantly less because your taxes have been cut, you're getting all of these free services at the cost of the government. And that's what tax cuts are. They are more free services for wealthy people who consume more of them. They consume more of these resources because they rely on our commerce and our systems to protect their wealth. And that's just the bottom line. So you never hear this complaint that people are getting free stuff from the government when they get their taxes reduced dramatically. You don't hear them complain about like, hey, people are getting their mortgage interest deduction. So if you have the money to go out and buy a house, you can get a tax break from the government. You can get some of that money that you expend on your house. You can get that off your taxes. You can save money that way. But you can't if you're just a question of you just getting, being stuck in a federal loan trap.
Well, then how would the government make money, right, Sam? I mean, and worry about, like, that's what he was saying. He was talking about the nation's debt.
They would tax.
Right. Well, why are we in this position? It's because of the Trump tax cuts. And then round and round we go.
We don't. The fact is that we can afford not to raise taxes and we can just forgive ourselves of
I agree.
But under his line of logic,
yes.
If he was genuinely worried about this, he would be calling for the repeal of the tax cuts, which, never mind, I'm a 32-year-old who paid off my bill. How about I'm a 32-year-old and I'm looking at a billionaire or a millionaire who just got hundreds of thousands of dollars off their taxes just because. But of course, that is age old. And the funny part is nobody watching that show cares. They don't care.
They don't.
They're just worried more about the lasers that are starting to forest fires.
Right. Well, but even in it's just a morning emotional release. You know how, like, you told me, Sam, in the morning you scream into a pillow and scream, "Why me?"
That's my morning exercise.
Right. You told me that.
That's the way I do that.
That's kind of what it is for the people that watch Fox and Friends.